You're not imagining it. You used to walk into a room and feel sure of yourself, like you belonged. You used to be the one people turned to for advice, for decisions, for strength. Your words carried weight. Your presence had purpose. But lately, something feels different. You catch yourself second-guessing things you never used to think twice about. You hesitate before speaking up. You feel quieter inside. Smaller. You can't quite explain it, but you feel like you're fading. It doesn't happen overnight. For most men, it's a slow unraveling that begins around the time the world starts seeing you differently. Retirement shifts your rhythm. People stop asking what you do. Your phone rings less. And suddenly, you're left alone with a version of yourself that feels unfamiliar. But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't just disappear. It's slowly eroded by things you can't always see. If you're a man over 60, there are 3 silent forces quietly stealing your confidence. And chances are, you haven't noticed them until now. They don't announce themselves. They don't show up in your medical charts. But they show up in how you walk, in how you speak, in whether you show up at all. But here's the good news, and it's the part most men never hear. There is a way back. A simple, natural solution that can start rebuilding your confidence, even if it feels like it's too late. It's not a pill. It's not a gimmick. And the surprising part? It starts with something you already have. So if you've been feeling a little less like yourself lately, stick around, because this might just be the conversation you didn't know you needed. Here's something we don't talk about enough. Confidence loss after 60 isn't rare. In fact, studies have shown nearly 1 in 3 men over 60 quietly battle low self-esteem, emotional isolation, and a growing sense of fading identity. But here's the surprising part. Most of them never bring it up. Not to their spouse, not to their doctor, not even to their closest friends. Why? Because somewhere along the line, we were taught that men should tough it out. That feeling unsure, lost, or invisible somehow makes you weak. But the truth is, you're not weak. You're human. And after 60, life changes in ways that quietly strip away the parts of yourself you once relied on to feel like you. Maybe you've retired, and suddenly the identity you held for 40 years is gone. Maybe your kids are grown and rarely call. Or maybe you faced loss, a partner, a friend, a brother, and that grief quietly lingers, reshaping your sense of self. And then there's the silence. You're surrounded by people, but you feel unseen. You smile through the conversations, but your thoughts keep drifting back to who you used to be, and wondering if that man is still in there somewhere. This is not just emotional, it's physiological. The Mayo Clinic points out that declining testosterone, reduced physical activity, and lack of daily purpose can directly impact brain chemistry, lowering dopamine and serotonin levels, both of which are crucial for confidence, mood, and motivation. WebMD calls it the silent erosion, a slow-burning loss of self-worth that many older men don't recognize until it's deeply rooted. But here's what you need to know. Confidence isn't something you lose forever. It's something that needs to be reawakened. And to do that, you have to understand the forces working against you, the ones no one told you were coming. Because it's not just aging. It's not just being tired. It's something deeper. And it's fixable. But you can't fix what you don't see. So let's bring it to the surface. The 3 silent confidence killers affecting men after 60. The first one might surprise you. One of the quietest, yet most powerful confidence killers for men after 60 is the slow shrinking of your social circle. It doesn't happen all at once. One friend moves away, another passes on, a brother becomes harder to reach, and before you realize it, the people you used to joke with, check in on, vent to, they're just gone. Retirement takes you out of the daily rhythm of interaction. That morning coffee chat at work? Gone. That familiar smile from your neighbor who used to stop and talk? They've moved. And if you've lost a spouse, the silence can feel like a thunderclap. At first, you welcome the quiet. But over time, it grows into something heavier. It's not just loneliness. It's the erosion of identity. Because here's something most people don't realize. Confidence isn't just internal. It's relational. We define ourselves, not in isolation, but in connection. When you were surrounded by people who knew your name, your story, your voice, you felt grounded. You belonged. But as those daily affirmations fade, something else fades with them. Your reflection in the eyes of others. When fewer people check in on you, ask for your opinion, invite you to things, it's easy to start asking quietly, do I still matter? Would anyone notice if I disappeared? Am I becoming invisible? And confidence can't grow in that kind of silence. A 2023 survey by the American Psychological Association found that men over 60 who reported having fewer than 2 meaningful social interactions per week were 4 times more likely to experience low confidence, depression, and decreased motivation. That's not coincidence. It's chemistry. Every time you interact with someone, laugh, share a story, offer advice, your brain releases dopamine and oxytocin. These are the same chemicals tied to confidence, connection, and a sense of meaning. So when those connections dry up, so do the feel-good chemicals. The good news? You can rebuild the circuit. It doesn't take dozens of people. Just one connection can make a difference. One call, one reconnection, one coffee meetup. You don't need a big event. You just need a moment. Backhand index pointing right, pick up the phone. Call an old friend you haven't spoken to in months or years. Leave a message if you need to. Set a reminder to check in again next week. Or join a local group. Walking, reading, church, volunteering. Something that gives you a place to show up and be seen. Because the more visible you become to others, the more visible you become to yourself. Confidence grows in conversation, in laughter, in moments shared, not just survived. So if your world's gotten smaller lately, it's not too late to widen it again. The first step? Just reach out. That one action might be the spark that rebuilds more than you think. It's one of the most overlooked causes of low confidence in older men, physical weakness. But this isn't just about strength. It's about the message your body sends to your brain. You see, after 60, your body naturally begins to lose muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. And unless you actively fight it, the decline isn't just noticeable, it becomes felt. You notice it when you hesitate before climbing stairs, when that jar lid suddenly feels like it's glued shut, when your gait slows, not because you're tired, but because your body is unsure. And this is where the real damage begins. Your brain starts interpreting those small, physical hesitations as signals of incapability. It's not just, oh, I'm getting older. It's deeper, subconscious. Your mind begins quietly asking, can I still do this? Will people notice I'm not as strong? Maybe I should just sit this one. And just like that, you start shrinking from things you used to enjoy. You avoid group hikes, cancel lunch plans, skip the errands you used to do confidently. Not because you can't, but because your brain believes you can't. Here's the truth. Your body and your confidence are deeply linked. When your muscles weaken, it's not just your strength that suffers. Your identity starts to erode. But here's the good news. You can reverse this messaging loop. And you don't need a gym, membership, or heavy weights to do it. Just 10 minutes a day of intentional, strength-based movement is enough to start sending new signals to your brain. I'm still strong. I'm still capable. I'm still here. It can be as simple as slow bodyweight squats holding onto a chair, resistance band curls or presses, gentle wall push-ups, or walking up and down a hallway with purposeful steps. When you move with strength, even in small doses, you rebuild your internal confidence circuitry. Your posture improves. Your balance returns. You feel more grounded, and others notice it too. And here's the most powerful part. You're not just gaining strength. You're reclaiming your confidence from the inside out. So start today. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Choose one strength move. Do it slowly, intentionally, with breath. Your brain and your confidence will thank you. Here's something almost no one talks about, yet it silently erodes the confidence of millions of men over 60. It's not just aging. It's hormonal drop-off, especially testosterone. After 60, testosterone levels can fall by 30% or more. And the effects? They sneak in quietly, like a fog you don't notice until you're lost in it. Suddenly, the energy to get things done fades. You start feeling more irritable, maybe even anxious for no clear reason. You're less motivated. Your body doesn't feel like yours anymore. Even your reflection starts to feel unfamiliar. But here's the truth. This isn't about masculinity or vanity. It's about chemical balance. And if you don't know what to look for, it will slowly chip away at your drive, self-respect, and confidence. A lot of seniors mistake this for just getting older, but your hormones may be waving a red flag. The worst part? Most doctors don't check unless you specifically ask. Start by getting your testosterone levels tested. Even a basic blood panel can tell a lot. Then, before jumping into medication, try natural boosters. White heavy checkmark zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, and spinach. White heavy checkmark good sleep. Your body restores hormones during deep sleep. White heavy checkmark morning sunlight. Just 15 minutes a day signals your brain to optimize testosterone. White heavy checkmark, and don't forget strength-building movements. Even 10 minutes a day of body weight. Exercise can help regulate your hormones. Even small shifts can help you feel clearer, stronger, and more in control again. You deserve to feel good in your own skin, not just accept decline as your new normal. Because real confidence after 60 isn't about pretending to be 30 again. It's about knowing what's changing and working with your body, not against. Here's the part most men never hear, but it can change everything. Confidence isn't a personality trait. It's not just something you feel or lose as you age. It's a circuit, a living, breathing loop made of 3 things. White heavy checkmark action, white heavy checkmark feedback, white heavy checkmark reward. And when that loop breaks, through isolation, hormonal changes, or lack of movement, so does your sense of self. But the good news? You can rebuild that circuit. And it starts right now with small, intentional steps. 1. Move your body with purpose. Even a 10-minute morning walk can rewire your brain chemistry. Add some light strength training twice a week to stimulate testosterone and reduce stress. This isn't just about muscle, it's about momentum. 2. Reconnect socially. Confidence doesn't grow in silence. Call a friend. Join a small group. Start saying yes to connection again, even if it feels awkward at first. Social contact is a biological need, especially in your golden years. 3. Fuel your hormones naturally. Eat foods that support testosterone, like eggs, nuts, leafy greens, and lean proteins. Get 15 minutes of morning sunlight to help reset your body's rhythm. Make quality sleep a priority. No late-night screens, no heavy meals before bed. 4. Reflect and reset. Take 5 minutes each evening to journal or simply review your day. Ask yourself, what did I do today that made me feel in control? This creates positive feedback, the kind your brain can build on tomorrow. Do this for just 7 days, and you won't just look more confident. You'll start to feel it again, not in a fake, surface way, but deep in your bones, like a fire being slowly relit. Confidence, at this stage of life, isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about reconnecting to your own rhythm and remembering that you're not done growing, not by a long shot. You've built careers, families, and communities. Now it's time to rebuild yourself, stronger, clearer, and more self-assured than ever before. Because the confidence circuit isn't lost. It's just waiting to be turned back on. Which of these confidence killers hit home for you? Was it the silent hormone drop-off? The slow fade of purpose after retirement? Or maybe the quiet isolation no one really talks about? Drop it in the comments, even just one word. Let's talk about it down there. Your story could help someone else feel less alone. And if this gave you even one aha moment, tap that like button to let us know. It helps us reach more people like you. Better yet, subscribe for weekly, no fluff tips to help you thrive after 60, not just survive. Because your best years still have so much to offer. Let's walk them together, one step, one story, one small win at a time.